All right. So GGG posted some patch notes a few hours ago, and we're gonna go over them. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long. But starting just right from the top, block now applies from all directions. Your passive block, not your directional block. Obviously, it's only the front. So huge buff to block. I saw a couple people were complaining that block felt useless. Hopefully, it doesn't now. Player size is now set to 0 units while dodge rolling instead of 1 unit. This is huge. I had a massive issue with the beetles in Keth, and that was not great. So that's good. That's a welcome change. Very much enjoy. That's a buff to dodge rolling. Some smaller monsters can now be pushed while dodge rolling. This includes monsters such as the adorned beetles in Keth, the exact mobs I was just mentioning. I think that's a great change in my opinion. One of the things I hated, the dodge roll just felt like shit. It did not feel good whatsoever. So if this makes it feel better, which I mean I've been playing last 9 hours. We're leveling a lightning sork right now. It definitely, I don't think I've been pinned against the wall. There's one time I was pinned into a wall and couldn't go anywhere. And those were bigger mobs. It was in the forest in Act 3 with some of the quadrillas, but either way. Inscribed ultimatums and Jin Barrios. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Now display whether you obtain ascendancy skill points upon completing the trial of chaos or the trial of Secamus, respectively. This is also fantastic for new players. We were talking about it a couple days ago on which ones actually gave an ascendancy point or not, because I was under the impression that there was difficulties. There's 4 tiers of difficulties, and you either do ultimatum or Secamus, and you get an ascendancy point, and then you do it on the next difficulty, then you get your next 2 ascendancy points, and then next difficulty, next difficulty. That's not how it is. In Act 1 through 3 normal difficulty, you get 4 ascendancy points by doing Secamus and then also ultimatum, both in normal difficulty. So I just re-rolled characters, so I don't know about the 5th through 8th points. I'm assuming you would also then just do those in cruel with the trials that just drop. I mean, I can go check on my previous character to see if the item says I can. I know my current one, the quest ones, do have the yellow text on this. So I think that's a really good change to tell you exactly what you need to do and what you don't need to do. So there's no guessing. Removed world map pins for encounters that were not from specific locations, i.e. areas, i.e. or in areas, i.e. from monster drops. Remove world map pins for encounters. I'm gonna be real, I didn't notice this at all, so I don't know really what it's referring to exactly. I know the pins it's talking about, but I'm not sure what was removed really. Because I know there's like the monster drops is like the mushrooms, the 2 statues that you got to put in the Valley of Titans. I believe there's one in Act 1 as well. It's like 1 per act, but I don't know really what it removed there. Improved attack in place behavior. I tried using this. The just checkbox for it doesn't work. The keybind does work, but yeah. So I mean it's improved. So awesome. Rain of Arrows and Firestorm now have a hit rate limit to prevent cases of them absolutely obliterating very large bosses. This will have little to no impact outside of boss fights with very large hitboxes. Rain of Arrows and Firestorm. Um, that's kind of shitty that this got nerfed because I was going to switch my Blood Mage over to a fire build and do a maybe Bleed Ignite sort of thing. Because you get the extra fizz in the Ascendancy and everything. Or at least Crit Ignite. But if I can't use Firestorm, or Firestorm's not as good because my Blood Mage is my, like, I guess, bossing tune, which is kind of why I'm re-rolling, because I don't have anything to boss right now, and it's really annoying trying to clear maps with Bone Storm. because all the maps, they're narrow. It's weird. Come by the stream and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Leech has been buffed. I love that we got numbers. I love that it's not, you know, just saying Leech has been buffed, but I guess it's been buffed, so awesome. Bone Shatter now more reliably hits your target. That's great, because I was going to do a Bone Shatter, so I'm happy that got technically buffed. The duration of Arm Break has been increased to 12 seconds, previously 6. That is a massive buff. That is awesome. I mean, you should really be hitting enough for this not to really fall off. But I guess that's just me because I use it on a caster. So I guess this is a melee buff for sure, or a melee quality of life, I should say. To improve performance, Incinerate now creates circular areas of ignited ground instead of segments. Awesome, fantastic, love fire buff. Added control click shortcut to open the currency exchange at the appropriate NPCs. Cool, quality of life. Add a button to travel to the Trial of Chaos on the world map. More quality of life. Added art for close combat support. Added 2D art for the Defiance of Destiny unique amulet. Added Ascendancy skill points as a keyword, which details how sets of Ascendancy points are obtained. Awesome. I think all the rest of this is quality of life, so I'll just read it really quick. If there's anything of note, then we will actually talk about it. Added such functionality for gem cutting and vendor inventories. When using a controller, keybinds for searching stash on a controller has been updated. Added gem cutting restrictions options for gamepad. Added suggested supports for time of need. I think that's a mace buff, like a buff skill, not like a buff. Not sure. I haven't used time of need yet. Updated the suggested supports for Bone Storm. I'll have to take a look at that. They were a little weird. I don't think I'm actually using any of these suggested stuff at all. Added an option for opening the trade website to the main menu for consoles. That's great. Runes now sell to vendors for more gold. Yeah, I don't understand why runes, bunch of the one slot stuff, runes, gems, they all sold for like 1 to like 25 gold. And it's like, dude, I'm selling you a level 14 gem, right? That's pretty much what you get through all the campaign, the max you can get, and then your first like T1, T2 maps. I think you need to get to like T3 or 4 before you get 15s. Why the fuck do they sell for 25? That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't matter. You're really not selling them anyways, unless you intend to only play one character. Updated art for reserved life and mana. Awesome. Updated description on runes to clarify that once socketed, they cannot be replaced. That's great for new players. Anything that limits the questions of new players or more casual players is always a welcome improvement. Auras and curses that affect allies or enemy resistances now display values in the skill pop-out panel. Okay, so you can actually just check it. When you go into the game, you can hit the little arrow over where your DPS should be. And that should be the pop-out they're talking about there. Tweak the audio of the Kiwi pets, Chimera pet, and baby Crowbell pet to reduce their impact in town areas. That's good. I remember thinking that to myself on day 2 when I was just chilling in town, and I was just like, this is all really annoying, and I ended up just walking out into my own instance to AFK while I was doing something. Update the wording on the invokers and protect me from harm ascendancy skills to clarify its functionality. Awesome. The description on Hex Blast to clarify that it only detonates a single curse per enemy in its radius. That doesn't make sense because I believe the gem reads and the video states, because this is one of the builds I was going to do before this lightning sork here. Yeah, I believe the video and the gem reads. Well, obviously not. They changed the description. Detonates all curses on the enemy. Which, I mean, you can only have 2 naturally because you get the +1 in your passive tree. Up at the top, there's not an ascendancy where you can get an additional curse yet, but there is a unique, I believe, a unique ring. So I'm not really sure why this would be a change. I feel like they should fix it and make it actually detonate all curses instead of just updating the description to stop them from having to do that. But yeah, whatever. It's not like anybody's playing the build, so I don't see why they wouldn't just do that. Update the description on fiery death support to clarify that the supporter skill does not need to kill the ignited enemy itself. That's good. I believe I use fiery death when I'm leveling and stuff. Reduce the defenses provided to monsters by the magma barrier modifier. I heard people complaining about this. I only saw this two times before this patch and didn't have an issue at all. But I did hear people complaining about it, and somebody did come into my chat when I found the first one, and they were complaining about it. But I mean, if it was too strong, it's too strong. Walking Goliaths no longer use their suicide attack if they are rare. I guess that's a nerf to the player because you don't get a free rare kill anymore, but whatever. So this one I heard about. Trigger gems and energy gain. This was being heavily abused with like SRS builds and stuff. SRS, I mean, fucking every build was abusing the fuck out of it. I know cold builds were, obviously SRS just said that. In general, fire builds, lightning builds. I mean, I am going this build for cast on crit, so this may affect what I'm currently doing. I may have to change my plan a little bit, but here we go. Trigger gem energy gained was not in the right place, and it was far too easy to use ailments to trigger spells. One problem with the previous system, previous system is that if we balanced it to make triggering happen in boss fights, then the triggering would happen far too often during clearing. In order to address this, we are now making monsters' power part of the calculation for energy gain. This means that it's far easier to trigger skills from unique monsters than it is from normal monsters. But you also hit many more normal monsters when fighting. Another issue was using low-level skills with unconditional ailment applications, such as Flame Wall to ignite enemies. That's currently what I'm doing. For triggering. In order to make the source of the ignite matter, we are making the energy gain be dependent on the strength of the ignite. Whoops. We also rebalance all energy gain across the board. So this does hurt my plan a little bit because I was thinking about, because I'm currently using Spark, and I was like, Spark through Flame Wall, everything pretty much instantly gets ignited. So maybe we just forego the cast on crit, still build crit for the damage, but we just go cast on ignite. We just Flame Wall down and then just spam and then cast on ignite. But since it's the strength of the ignite now, we're just back to cast on crit. And most likely using the level 13 lightning skill. I forget what it's called. It's like the cone attack. As we run through things with cast on crit. Okay. I mean, if it's a needed change, it's a needed change. I mean, I've seen some of the builds. Some of the builds are insane. So I think this is definitely a needed change. I just hope they didn't nerf it so much to where it's unplayable and it takes a build style away and the meta gems just become useless. But I mean, we'll see. I'll definitely be testing it out myself in the next day or two here. Ultimatum changes. I hope these are good. I hate ultimatum. I can't stand it. Some of the challenges are just ridiculous, and I think the first one in the story is completely overtuned. And it's not for me. It wasn't even the boss that was overtuned. Like I said, I was playing Bone Storm. By the time I was able to clear out the 3 or 4 challenges prior to it, I had so much damage I 3-shot the boss. However, I was also 3-shotting the mobs, and it was a blood mage with MOM. So, and I had a shit ton of regen. I have like 2,500 effective life before any sort of overflow, and they were hurting me. I was level 54, completing a level 38 ultimatum, it was ridiculous. It should not have happened. I tried it at 47 previous to that, and it was just to the point of like, I'm just done with this. Like, I'll just come back when I'm bored. I have nothing else to do. I don't really care about the 2 ascendancy points. Um, I'll just come back when I'm damn near in maps, and then when I actually care about getting the ascendancy points, because through the campaign, who cares? And I'll just come back when I really wanted it. So, ultimatum is rough. I kind of hate how they picked it. I wish we just had another version of labs. Maybe we get it back, maybe not. You never know. But on to the notes. Generally improved balance across the board with ultimatum monsters, bosses, and modifiers, mostly targeting outliers that were too difficult and bringing them in line. I know the turrets were terrible. They one-shot me at 47. That was great. The monster density of ultimatum encounters has been made more consistent. That's fair. No, that definitely need to be happening, because wave 2, where they just keep spawning, sometimes you get like nothing, and then the last like 15 seconds you get a whole shit ton of stuff, or sometimes you just get a shit ton of stuff the entire time. Stormcaller runes, blood globules, heart tethers, and impending doom rings no longer spawn while a player is on a lift or near the altars in the Vol Soulcore room. I never had that happen to me, but that would have been hilarious. Fixed a bug where player minions could get stuck at the top of the lift in the Trials of Chaos. My pet, Chimera, kept getting stuck up there, but nothing really, yeah, we don't use minions here. So, fixed a bug which caused enemies to be primed for stun or electrocuted earlier than intended while in a party. I'm not really going to go through all of these because these are just bug fixes, but I'm going to go through some of the ones that are more notable, because there was like a Herald of Ash and a minion one that were actually, it's a bug fix, but it turned into a buff slash a nerf. Fixed a bug where Gemling Legionnaires with the integrated efficiency ascendancy passive skill allocated could lose their 3 additional skill slots if they were empty when entering a new area. Okay, decent bug fix. Party members reviving when using WASD input, where you could revive party members from too far away. That's a nerf. I played some party play with 4 people, day 1 or day 2, and you kind of need that range when you're in a small boss room. We were doing count together. It was it was fun, but it was definitely a pain when there's a whole bunch of ground effects going out. Waystones found have a chance to be a tier higher on the Atlas tree wasn't working. Oh, thank God that got fixed. Audio mix settings. The Flesh Crafter cluster was not connected to the notable passive skill. Awesome. Cannot open a portal to the riverbank in cruel difficulty. I didn't have that problem. The Colossus skill could persist through death, so this is a boss. I mean, thank God. I don't think I ever got. Is this the Soul Core boss? I think this is the large Soul Core boss. I actually just had him use his stuff after death today and it hit me. Well, obviously it was fixed already. Disenchanting. Some fire spells such as Volatile Dead, Incinerate, were not functioning correctly with Raging Spirits. So this actually, I believe, I was watching Zizarin last night, and I believe he was talking about, or no, it was this morning. This is actually a nerf that came in. Buffs on you expire slower from the prolonged assault notable skill, and other Chronomancer ascendancy skills was applying to debuffs and other effects as well as buffs. Okay, so this is a buff because now it's no longer debuffs that decay slower. They decay at their same rate, and it's just your buffs. Spoken where non-reviving minions were spawning a remnant from the Grim Feast buff when dying in your presence. So that's a nerf. And fixed a bug. Infernalists with the Pyromantic Pack Ascendancy passive skill allocated were considered to be on low Infernal Flame if they were at 50% of maximum Infernal Flame or lower instead of 35%. So that's a nerf. That's a big nerf. I know a lot of people are playing Infernalist right now, so I think it might need to be brought in line a little bit, but I don't think they're playing Infernalist because of this. I think they're doing it because of SRS and Cast on Ignite. So this may have actually, they probably wanted to hold off on this because a lot of shit just hit Infernalist all at once there. The world map icon of Candlemass and Cruel was not updating correctly. I actually did have this happen. It's the Act 1 rat candle boss. Fixed a bug where you could be unable to upgrade gems despite satisfying the attribute requirement. Never had that. Fixed a bug where Fiery Death support was not dealing damage correctly. I did this. I used this last night. And it was doing a lot of damage, so I'm wondering if this actually just got nerfed. Fixed infusion support gems on Herald. This is the Herald one I was speaking about earlier. So this is actually a nerf to Heralds. Fixed infusion support gems on Herald skills, applying the gain damage as extra elemental damage to all attacks instead of just the damage of the Herald skill. So, yeah, you lost damage on all your attacks and not just the... So now when you have infusion support, it only affects the damage from the Herald instead of the Herald and then all your attacks that the Herald did damage with. Expedition encounters could fail to generate in the decay map. Okay, quality of the sacrifice skill was causing minions to revive 5% slower instead of 5% faster. I said that different because I was going to jumble this up. I apologize. So this is actually a buff. So now the gem works, or the quality of the gem works correctly. Fixed a bug where the exit portal to the final boss in the Trial of Secamus did not visually display upon killing the boss. Fixed a bug where Socrates skills you didn't meet the requirements for were missing their name in the skills menu when using a controller. Elemental Storm spawned underneath you instead of where it was supposed to. Snapshotting bug with loads an additional bolt crossbow modifier, so that's a nerf, I would imagine. Contagion was not spreading poisons, so that's a buff. Tempest spell could become invisible. NPCs were missing their name labels in hideouts when using a controller. Signing into a guest account on PlayStation. Okay. Into the hideout. 8 instance crashes. So, cool. 6 client crashes. Awesome. Client crash that could occur on Xbox. 3 client crashes that could occur on PlayStation 5. All right. So that was patch notes for 0.1.0D, I guess. So it's a minor patch, whole bunch of bug fixes, a bit of balancing. Yeah, I mean it's early access, so I would imagine we're gonna get these every few days. Because we are only on. This was posted 6 hours ago. Today's the 12th. My phone is showing me the weather. Yeah, today's the 12th. So we're 6 days in, and we've gotten multiple skills nerfed that we're overperforming. I don't think we've gotten any buffs yet. We just got meta gems nerfed. So I expect way more nerfing as intended to come before anything else. And you know, you got to remember with the nerfs too, there are still a shit ton of support gems and other skills not in the game. So yes, these are nerfs right now, but most of the skills you're using aren't going to be full on support gems. So once we get the rest of the support gems, it'll kind of bring those things right back up because everybody's down power right now because we do not have all of our support gems. We don't have all of our skills. So, you know, once the game fills up and they populate, you know, our gems, this will definitely all, you know, come back full circle. These builds will be extremely strong again. Or, you know, best case scenario, they're right in line where we need them to play. But yeah, other than that, ran on a little long. I mean, fucking, these are nowhere near the longest patch notes GGG has ever put out. So the next ones will probably be longer. But yeah, no, if you enjoyed that, throw it a like, subscribe. More videos like this to come. We'll try to review all the patch notes we can. We're putting out some helpful shorts on YouTube as well. Nothing has gone on TikTok yet for PoE. Um, but yeah, we stream every day as much as we can. We don't really have a set time right now. Like right now, we've gone 9 hours. Yesterday we went for 5. Day before 16. Day before 18. So we're streaming all the time. Pop in twitch.tv/Rusama. If you made it this far, I love you. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, stay tuned for the next one.